the woods decay and fall, the vapors sweep their burden to the ground, man comes and tills the field and lies beneath, and after many a summer dies the swan. So here in this poem, we are talking about Tithonus, the son of Laomedon, a king of Troy, and he lived in the mortal world, that is the human world. And he is mourning something, he is lamenting for something. That is the boon of immortality with which he was blessed with. And he is making all his complaints to his lady love, which is Aurora or Eos, the goddess of dawn, who had fallen in love with Tithonus and had captivated him or abducted him out of love. So now, after when he received the blessings of immortality, then what happened to his life? We see the lamentings thereafter. Now in this stanza, he says, the woods decay. So by the word the woods, he represents the whole natural world, the trees, the forests, everything in nature that is subjected to the wrath of time, the passage of time. It decays and it mixes with the soil. It decays and it falls. So it faces its death. So symbolizing that one which is born has to die and has to surrender itself to the earth, mixes with the soil back again after death. The vapors sweep their burden to the ground, that is the vapors, the water vapor that rises up from the different water resources. So everything that dries up and goes up into the sky, into the different layers of the atmosphere or whatever, and forms the clouds and then coming back to the ground in the form of rain, mist. So it is the whole natural water cycle that we are talking about. Everything that is born on the earth makes a complete circle and then mixes with the soil back again. So subject to death and decay. Man comes and tills the field and lies beneath. Every human on earth completes his life, no matter how short, how long it might be, but man has to die because he is mortal. So he completes his own responsibilities, longings, desires, whatever his life comprises of. And directly, literally, if we mean that he does his job on earth, whatever he is made to do. For example, it might be a farmer, it might be a carpenter, any profession, anything. So a mortal person, a human, comes to the earth, lives his life, and then mixes with the soil back again after his death. And after many a summer dies the swan. That means that after a few years, after quite a number of years, so each summer means each year. So even the beautiful swan also faces death and it cannot escape death. Me only cruel immortality consumes. So it is only me. So how isolated, how abandoned he is from the rest of the world, how segregated he is, how different is his life, that he is emphasizing, that I am suffering the cruel effect, the curse of immortality, which was a boon, which was a blessing bestowed upon me, but ultimately it has turned to be a curse. I wither slowly in thine arms, so I am growing old in your arms. Thine, your. Here at the quiet limit of the world. So here at the extreme point of the horizon where no other being is there, no other life is there, just you and me. Here I am the only one who is dying, yet not facing an end, and growing old and withering and breaking up into bits from within. A white-haired shadow roaming like a dream, that the ever silent spaces of the east. So here in the eastern horizon where we are here, so I and you, and then the one who is dying and who is withering and who is growing old, who is facing the ultimate effects of time and the strong impacts of time. I am the one who has experienced all these, and you remain unchanged. It's only me, and I have reduced to a mere shadow. I've seen everything, I've lived my life. It is the ultimate time for me and the perfect time for me to live, because it is my miserable condition which is making me plead from within that my life must have come to an end by now, because it's unbearable for me. So he thinks that he is like a white-haired shadow. White hair again symbolizes old age. He has seen and done everything. He has experienced and witnessed everything that the world has to offer. For example, he wishes to say that, yet he is trapped in the east with Eos or Aurora, whatever you say. Now, the ever-silent spaces of the east, far-folded mists and gleaming halls of morn. So, far-folded mists, so this eastern horizon, what it is full of? It is far away from every other being, far away from beyond the reach of the mortal world, and gleaming halls of morn, and forever it's sparkling with the morning light, with energy, vigor, which my life and me lack. Alas for this grey shadow, once a man, so glorious in his beauty and thy choice. So alas, it's so sad. Isn't it so sad? Isn't it so miserable a thing to ever imagine myself as somebody, a man once who was glorious in his beauty and thy choice, who was so glorious, who was so beautiful that in spite of being a mortal, I was chosen by you, a god, for being your lover, for being your beloved, who madest him thy chosen, and you made me your choice. It was not me who went after you, but you who came after me. That he seemed to his great heart none other than a god, and you made me feel like a god, nothing less than a god, because when a god has fallen in love with a mortal, that means the mortal has elevated his status to his great heart, none other than a god. I asked thee, give me immortality. So I was the one who had asked from you immortality, because I presumed that it was only that point which I was lacking to be a god, that is immortality, and therefore I asked for it. Then didst thou grant mine, asking with a smile, like wealthy men who care not how they give. So you, like a so generous person, like a so generous being, you granted me it immediately, right at that moment when I asked for it. You had gifted it, you had granted me, you had bestowed upon me immortality, the thing that I myself had asked for. Like wealthy men who have so plenty, that blessed with abundance, that they care not what they give away. It makes them nothing less or no harm. So you gave me what I had myself asked for. But thy strong hours, indignant, worked their wills. But you see, the strong hours, so the time has proved itself quite cruel. Indignant, worked their wills. So time here has been personified, and it seems that as if it had not liked this thing that a mortal has been blessed with immortality, as if he wants to defy time, nature, and he wants to go against the law of nature, and therefore it had worked to its utmost, as much it could destroy and crush him, and therefore it has done it. So will, it has worked its wills, whatever it wanted it has done, and beat me down and marred me and wasted me. So it has beaten me down, it has finished me in many ways, my beauty, my strength, my looks, everything it has wasted. It has turned me into a mere waste, into a mere nothing in comparison to what I was before. Yet, because it is unable to bring about my final death, but I continued to age. The aging process could not be stopped. Time has marred me, destroyed me, crushed me down, yet, and though they could not end me, left me maimed. So they could not end me. Therefore, they had done whatever it could to the extreme limit. It has caused its impact to the utmost upon me and left me maimed. Time has left me impaired, incapacitated me. It has left me disabled to the extent that I could not be harmed anymore. So time has mutilated me, crippled me, left me crippled and nothing as I was before. And though they could not end me, left me maimed. And because whatever they could do, they have done it. they have proved their power. Just the fact that they could not end me because they could not. To dwell in presence of immortal youth, immortal age beside immortal youth, and all I was in ashes. Time has left me crippled. It has battered me to the extent that it could not harm me anymore, and therefore I am left to dwell, to live, to reside with whom? With immortal youth, in the presence of immortal youth, which is Aurora herself, and immortal age beside immortal youth. So immortal age is Tithonus himself, so he would continue aging, and yet in spite of being with immortal youth, and all I was in ashes, and therefore I have destroyed myself. My life remains destroyed. So the fact that his never-ending age is made even worse by the fact that Eos or Aurora, his partner, will remain completely untouched by time forever, and he forever would keep on aging and would wither, turning old even more. He doesn't even know, he can't even imagine to what extent. Can thy love, thy beauty make amends, though even now close over us the silver star, thy guide, shines in those tremulous eyes that fill with tears to hear me. So can thy love, can your love, can the love for me that you have in your heart, can you make any amends, make up for the loss that I am experiencing right now? So though even now close over us the silver star. So the gods, the other gods who were jealous of Tithonus and who did not like and the fact that he was granted immortality, and who were full of contemptuous thoughts and feelings for him, they and their curse has worked quite nicely, because they have taken their revenge to the extent that it has left him completely battered and withered and old. So it would be even, because it is even in more contrast to his love being everlastingly young and beautiful and renewing her energy and vigor and beauty each day even more, and thus he would feel his own pain even more. So his pain would be only heightened by looking at her every day. And so he appeals to Aurora. Can your beauty, can your love, anything, can anything in the whole universe turn back things into right and make any changes, make any correction, and close over us the silver star? So they are implying Venus, the rising star, the silver star that rises in the morning. So it is still there, the guide, thy guide that shines in those tremulous eyes that fill with tears to hear me. So you are still in tears to hear me even. Why are you in tears? Because your teary eyes scare me even more, that perhaps you can't help me. And then he continues his urge in direct words that let me go, take back thy gift. Why should a man desire in any way to vary from the kindly race of men, or pass beyond the goal of ordinance, where all should pause, as is most meet for all? So now it is demonstrated that how in the first stanza he wanted immortality, to believe himself equal or to equal himself with gods in spite of being a mortal, and he wanted to go against the laws of nature. But now he knows, he has understood and realized his mistake, and he knows the importance of the cycle of life, and he wishes that he had never committed this mistake, and that no man would ever do the same or even desire to do the same, by seeing his plight, his misery, that what could happen if one wishes to hide from death. Though it might be scary, yet it is what it should be. So why should a man even desire of diverging from this? Because this is the ultimate end, and this is the way the life of men should normally, usually pass on to. And there should not be any change expected nor desired for. Because ultimately it brings doom. It brings even a much more disaster which nobody has ever perceived, neither he himself. He urges to Aurora and appeals to her ardently to take back thy gift, to take back her gift, to take back the blessing that was bestowed upon him, because now he realizes the ruin in desiring to be different from all the rest of the mankind, and in living beyond the goal of ordinance, the normal human lifespan, is just what he has done wrong. A soft air fans the cloud apart. There comes a glimpse of that dark world where I was born. So a soft air fans, so there is a soft breeze, and he is able to see the dark world. He refers to it as dark world because he is referring to the mortal world. This is aurora rising, the dawn rising, and how beautifully she is rising every day, again and again. When the soft breeze moves away or shakes away the cloud, and he is able to see the dark world, the mortal world to which he belonged, then he is reminded of from where he belonged, and then once more the old mysterious glimmer steals from thy pure brows and from thy shoulders pure and bosom beating with a heart renewed. So with renewed heart, with renewed vigor, with renewed beauty, pure, so bright, so energetic, full of vitality, you appear every day, and thy cheeks begin to redden through the gloom. So your cheeks redden, you blush. So such is your glowing beauty. Thy sweet eyes brighten slowly, close to mine. So your sweet eyes, I can see, I can feel, so bright in front of me, so close to me, yet so away. Yet there is such a vast gap between us. Ere yet they blind the stars, and the wild team which love thee yearning for thy yoke arise. So even before they blind the other stars, so I can see you brighten, rise up high, even before you have risen so far, so up above in the sky that you blind all other stars in your beauty. So in comparison to all other stars, they are nothing when it comes to your beauty, your glow, and your glory. And the wild team of horses, they are just waiting for your signal, and they will take you on their back, and they will roam around the sky and throw light and glow from you to everybody which love thee, yearning for the yoke arise, and shake the darkness from their loosened manes. So as if the horse would shake off their manes, and the darkness from the sky, from the world, would also be shaken off, and beat the twilight into flakes of fire. And in a minute, in a second, in a jiffy, everything would be lighted up, will be illuminated. Lo, ever thus thou growest beautiful in silence. Then before thine answer given departest, and thy tears are on my cheek. So it's sad. It's sad because lo. So it's just an interjection. So it's sad that you glow so beautifully, so nicely, so yet you silently pass away from me, and you depart from me. The moment I start to speak, I start asking you questions, I start making my request, my appeal again and again. The moment I do so, in silence you depart with tears in your eyes and your tears on my cheek. You weep at my situation, at my pathetic condition, and which scares me. Why wilt thou ever scare me with thy tears, and make me tremble lest the saying learnt in days far off on that dark earth be true? The gods themselves cannot recall their gifts. So why do you scare me? Why will you ever do such a thing as to weep? And whenever I make you a request, you scare me even more, that nothing, I cannot be helped, my situation cannot be changed, cannot be transformed, nothing good can ever happen to me now, because in days far off I had heard in the dark earth that there is a saying that the gods themselves cannot recall their gifts. So the gods who have gifted, who have bestowed the blessings, who have allowed and blessed you, they themselves cannot take back their blessings back. So therefore leave alone that no other god power. So no other god, and not the god who has bestowed it, not the ones other than him, can ever take back what they have once given. So once done is done forever. So the speaker is again and again made to realize in most better terms that his condition is not going to change, and this is what shall lie for eternity. And he continuously mentions it as dark earth, because perhaps that because of his wish which he had made on earth while being a mortal has crushed him, has finished him, and has doomed him in such a way that he is referring to it as dark. That I curse the earth from where I came, and why did I at all make such a wish? And therefore he refers to it as dark, where the dark wish was made. The wrong step, the wrong desire made. I me, with what another heart in days far off, and with what other eyes I used to watch. If I be he that watched, the lucid outline forming round thee, saw the dim curls kindle into sunny rings, changed with thy mystic change, and felt my blood glow with thy glow that slowly crimsoned all thy presence and thy portals, while I lay, mouth, forehead, eyelids growing dewy warm with kisses balmier than half-opening buds of April, and could hear the lips that kissed whispering I knew not what of wild and sweet, like that strange song I heard Apollo sing, while Ilion like a mist rose into towers. Here the speaker is reminiscing on the past, on his past, on the better days of his life, when he used to be a mortal and admire the beauty of aurora. Perhaps if he had not chosen this path, he would have lived a better, fuller life, facing his end at the right point of time. And he again remembers that how beautiful and which beautiful aspects of aurora was he charmed with. And this lover from his youth used to whisper to him the wild sweet melodies like the music of Apollo's lyre, which accompanied the construction of Ilion, which is the city of Troy. Your glory made me glow. Your light, your crimson light, your reddish tinge in you made me turn into crimson. So we shared the same warmth, the same energy, the same youth, the same vigor, but alas, not now. So I'm nowhere in any terms, from any perspective, the same being who I was back then. Yet hold me not forever in thine east. How can my nature longer mix with thine? Coldly thy rosy shadows bathe me, cold are all thy lights, and cold my wrinkled feet upon thy glimmering thresholds, when the steam floats up from those dim fields about the homes of happy men that have the power to die. So he says, yet hold me not now, not anymore in your east, in this abode of ours. So in this abode of yours, in this residence of yours, don't hold me any longer. I don't want to be here anymore, as coldly thy rosy shadows bathe me. So now, the moment I see you, my pain gets increased. It increases. My pain only increases with your appearance, with your love, because they are in such an adverse couple. They are in contrast to each other to such a vast extent that they have nothing in common. His eternal old age contrasts completely, painfully, with her eternal renewal. He cringes, cold and wrinkled, whereas she rises each morning warm, happy, and with all the glory and vigor which he lacks. Even though that they both are immortal, his visage and constitution are no longer what they were before, when he was chosen by her. And thus he does not feel the same way in which he used to feel for her. He pleads with her to release him, to let him return to the ground. So therefore he wants to return back to the mortal world, who are blessed because they have the ability to die. No matter what their lives are, just because they have the power to die, they are lucky, they are happy, they are happier than him. because it is the only thing that he lacks and he can never achieve. So he wishes to achieve that, to have that, to experience that, because he's just tired of his own life. Release me and restore me to the ground. Thou seest all things. Thou wilt see my grave. Thou wilt renew thy beauty morn by morn. I, earth in earth, forget these empty courts, and thee returning on thy silver wheels. So he says, it will not be a change for you. You will rise every day. You will wake up every day. You will have all your energy and youth with you through eternity. But I won't be the same. I am not the same. So release me and put me back from where I came. That is the ground. That is the earth. And let me be in my grave. You can see everything. You will see my grave too. So you can have me still in your remembrance, in your mind, in your heart, and you are able to see everything around. So you will still have me, though not in physical appearance, but you know where I will lie. I am nothing better than a dead creature right now. So better that I face death and I experience death, and I no longer am present in the present form as I am now in. Just wants to forget this emptiness, this hollowness of his life that he now is bound to experience. So she can always return on her silver wheels and spread happiness and light and energy every morning. And that only stings him, because it only makes him realize what he is incapable of, and therefore he wishes to die. And as we know the story, if we come back to the mythological Greek story that is associated with this one, so we know that ultimately the goddess transforms him into a grasshopper, such that he cannot experience his life immortal state as he was presently in. So he was in pain, in great pain, in utter pain, and she just could not see him in that state, in a human form, in the form of the lover in, and therefore she just wanted him to have some kind of peace, some kind of satisfaction, because he, in his trial to match his past life with his present, him, it would only hurt him, and therefore she wanted to release him from this pain. Even though that she could not grant him with death, so she transforms him in the end into a menial creature, such that his pain can be lessened to some extent in some way. He wants to be released from this eternal suffering that he is subjected to, and he is just unable to bear the pain and endure the pain and suffering through which he is going in the present time. He now desires for his mortal fate. He wants that he had never diverged from the common fate of human beings. And when you have seen so much of me, when you have seen me in such a pathetic condition, crying and weeping and wailing and complaining all the time, so if you have seen me wither and turn old and cry and lament, then if you have experienced the same pain which I am going through, then watching me die and watching my grave would not be anything different. Perhaps you can have some sort of satisfaction, some sort of consolation from the fact that that is what I wish, what I assume, what I believe is or shall be a happier place for me. So your beauty will always be enhanced and increased by every passing day, every passing hour. And I shall keep deteriorating to who knows to what extent. Your beauty is ordained to be renewed forever. I can't remember your beauty with the same energy, with the same love that I used to, because I am now completely in contrast to you, and therefore the love that we have nowhere exists, because the feeling is no more the same. So you shall continue to return on your silver wheels, appear and reappear every morn, and I shall only remain a withered shadow and nothing more than that. Therefore, let me forget, let me leave these empty courts. This abode of ours is nothing but only a reason of my pain, and it only gives me pain to think about this, to live here, and therefore just release me from my pathetic condition. Release me from my pain.